What up, YouTube? Ed coming back on Oasis Reunion Day. Going to be showing off one card in the collection that I've been trying to add into the Phillies PC for several years. This particular journey of adding this card into the collection has really been crazy. A lot of twists and turns, but man, I'm still really thrilled to have this one into the collection. I'm going to get into the story about how it was acquired and all the twists and turns, but it's from a pretty popular vintage set that's been gaining more popularity, I feel like, in the years since I've learned about the existence of this card. And was looking for one at the National, and I only found the Mickey Mantle and the Willie Mays from this set. But it's from 1959. It's the Home Run Derby, and it is of the lone Philly in the set. It is Mr. Wally Post. So was able to get the PSA 1.5 into the collection. Do not give a damn about the condition of the card. Just really thrilled to add an authentic copy into the collection. These are blank backs. But just really thrilled to add this one into the Phillies collection. And this was a card that just took so many twists and turns to add into the collection. Been looking for this card for several years. Been looking for it at the Philly show. Me and Mike go. It's been both on our radar. Mike was able to add one at the National this year because Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards, actually sold his copy. So I'll rewind the tapes a little bit. It's a card that rarely comes up for auction and it is rarely on the secondary market to purchase. Prior to a couple months ago, I think the last one sold on Heritage Auctions, a copy of the card, and I think it sold for a few hundred because it was in a higher grade. But prior to that, the last one to sell on eBay, I think, was in 2020. So we're in 2024, so it's been a while since that card has been offered. And the week before the National, Probstein posted a entire set break that he was doing, and they were all in the SGC tuxedos. So somebody offered on consignment the entire set. Most of the cards were in high grade. The Wally Post was in a 6, so it was a very high grade. And prior to the National, I put in a $500 bid for that card. I was really determined to add that card into my Phillies collection. Like I said, it's a card I've been trying to get for quite a little while, but I got grossly outbidded. The card wound up selling for $870 in the SGC 6. So that was kind of demoralizing because I was just like, man, I threw a $500 punch out there, and it wasn't even close. My best shot was nowhere near the ballpark. Granted, I was hanging my hat on that it was a high grade, so maybe I can get a 1 or a 2. Don't care who's graded it. Don't care if it's SGC or PSA, but maybe, just maybe, I'll luck out and something will happen. Maybe I'll find one at the National. I would never buy this card raw. If I did see one, they made a bunch of reprints in the 80s, so there's sometimes you'll see listings on eBay where they don't differentiate the reprint from the original 59. And so not that you see, I don't think, many original 59 Home Run Derby cards. The overwhelming majority seem to be graded that sell. But anyways, went to the National and looked around, didn't find any. Now, Rick posted one in his video that he was selling, and I messaged Mike O. I said, hey, Mike, you're going to want to check out Rick's video because he looks like he's going to be moving the Wally Post. I sent Rick an email, said, hey, if for whatever reason Mike O doesn't want this card, which probably he's going to want the card, but if for any reason, I'll definitely take it off your hands. Mike obviously was interested in the card because it is a very tough Phillies card to find. So Mike got the card. So prior to that, only the card has moved twice in the last 3 years. So the one that sold on Probstein, and then the private sale that Rick did here on YouTube in the community. So again, a card that doesn't really move too often. But then, in a very, very weird coincidence, the week after the National, Probstein actually relisted the card. So I was talking to a couple different people. I'm like, well, maybe it was shilled. It's Probstein. Who knows? Maybe the card was shilled. We'll see what it sells for now. Let's give it another go. I was leaving to go out to Vegas that week. So when I'm not at my original location, I'm not going to be able to buy or bid on any cards because I don't do eBay on the mobile. So I'm watching the auction for Probstein, and it wound up selling for over the amount of $890. Sold for $960 with taxes and shipping. That went over $1,000. So that was just utterly insane to me that card went for over $1,000 in the SGC6. But I guess nothing's really surprising now because it is a tough to find card of the man who defeated Hank Aaron in the Home Run Derby. Hank Aaron won Home Run Derby 6 times in a row, and then Wally Post came on the show and actually beat the all-time home run king. So kind of a little cool tidbit there. But then, out of the blue, I get a text message from my good friend Dan of the IRP ilk. He said, Ed, stop what you're doing. This just got listed. And lo and behold, it was this card. The 59 Home Run Derby Wally Post in a PSA 1.5. So I'm in Las Vegas. This just gets posted. I just get the text message. I'm like, oh crap. I'm not going to be able to get back in time to Philadelphia to be able to hit the buy it now. Someone is definitely going to buy it. The seller had it listed for $299, so $300. Shipping and tax, all total comes to $330. That's an instant buy for me. I was already committed to paying $500 for an SGC6, and like I said, the grade is irrelevant to me. I don't care if it's in a 1, 2, 1.5, whatever. I just want a copy of the card. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to acquire this card. Obviously, someone buying the card for $330. I don't think I'm going to make it to Monday when I get home. So I'm really trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to land this card. So I messaged Mike send him a message. I said, hey, Mike, this Wally Post just got posted. Is there any way you could buy the card for me, and when I get back, I will pay you for the card? He said, absolutely, I'll do it for you. So Mike purchased the card and was just thrilled. Was on cloud 9 while I was in Mandalay Bay getting ready to see Morrissey at House of Blues. Was just completely thrilled. And it went to the eBay authentication. But then Mike received the card. And I don't know if you noticed this when I showed off the slab. It has a crack in the slab. So here the seller of this card sent this card in a padded envelope, but with no cardboard, no protection, no baggie, no nothing. I just can't get over the idiocy to ship a rare card like this with absolutely little to no protection. So there was a crack on the slab. It got damaged in shipping. Thankfully, the crack did not go through the card. It is a deep crack, but the card is completely fine. It didn't damage the card. You can see here on the back, there's nothing to see through here. So thankfully, no damage to the card, which was my number one concern. Aesthetically, only the slab is damaged, but it is frustrating because if I want to get it reholdered, I believe that costs like $75 to get it reholdered. So I told Mike, and Mike agreed with me. I said, message the seller and be like, yo, man, what is the deal here? How can you ship a card like this with absolutely zero protection? Now the slab got damaged. So they did a little bit of back and forth, and the guy's like, you can either return it or I'll give you a $40 refund. I'll give you $40 off the purchase. Returning the card is completely out of the question. As like I said, as long as the card is still the card, that's fine. As long as there's no actual damage to the card, like it's not cut or it didn't get sliced in half. I want it in the collection, so we got $40 off. So it went from $330 to $290. So all in for $290. But and I rarely get irritated or agitated with sellers on eBay. I'm very relaxed and chilled when it comes to that, but I couldn't believe that someone would ship a really, really tough to find card like that, and for it to go through eBay authentication and still get that deep crack. But thankfully, took the $40. And when I saw the slab in person, I was like, that's not too bad. And like I said, the card is completely fine. It's just a crack on the slab, so it's not the end of the world. Because I was contemplating maybe getting it crossed over to SGC if the crack was really, really bad or really noticeable. Just getting it crossed over to them just to get it reholdered, because I really don't want to pay $75 to get that card reholdered with PSA. That just seems a little overkill to me. I like I said, it's irrelevant to me what company has graded it. So I might get it crossed over to SGC, but honestly, I feel like it looks fine. It doesn't bother me, put it that way. So that's the story. So a lot of moving parts there. Looking for this card for many, many years. Friends of the community, Dan of the IRP, Mike O coming through clutch, because if Dan doesn't tell me about the card, and then if Mike O doesn't purchase the card for me, this is not in my collection. So I guarantee it would have not have stayed. It would have not have been on. It would have not have stayed on eBay, because even when Mike was communicating with the seller said, "Hey, I have already had multiple people inquire about the card," and this was only 5 minutes after it got posted. So that's why sometimes you gotta pay the sticker price. You just got it. When you see something like that, there's no negotiation. You just gotta be like, okay, take my money. So that's one of the rare instances to get the Wally Post into the collection. Like I said, the man who defeated Hammer and Hank Aaron, the all-time home run king. Absolutely insane. So that's all I got for you guys. 13 minutes. I just showed off one card, but it was the incredible journey to get that into the collection. All the moving parts and the moving and shaking that went through there. So just really, really thrilled on cloud nine to finally have the Post into the collection. And that's all I got for you. So it's shorter than Lord of the Rings. The journey was shorter than Frodo throwing the ring into the fires of Mount Doom. So I hope you can appreciate that. Have a great one and enjoy this hobby, people.